Alright, we're going to do a speed round, wicking the Fatality RTA, okay? Real quick, okay, these are alien coils, it's about where I've got them. You've got a juice well on each side, okay? Then you've got a port right here, okay? You want to fill this, okay? It's got a pretty big juice port, and you don't have a lot of room between here and here. So what you have to do, you have to thin the ends just a little bit, so that when you put them down in there, this is not stuffed, but up above here you have plenty of cotton to keep anything from coming. It's a raised deck, so even though it's raised, it's only raised that much off of where the juice port is, okay? And you've got this ultimate insert right here, okay? So I'm just gonna throw some cotton threads in here real quick. Hopefully the ends will fit. Yeah. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna wick this for later, so I'm not gonna put any juice on it, okay? Now, take my scissors, and what I'm going to do is basically go, okay, I put mine right down here where the juice port is. I bring my thing down, and that's where I'm gonna cut it, okay? And I kind of do a double check. I don't mind if I have it too long right now. I just don't want it too short yet. I can shorten it up later. Okay. Now, you see how much fluff is there, right? Because you gotta thin that out. But don't stroke like the whole thing. You want to thin the end out. What you're basically doing is making it a fan. Then take your fingers, just gently, don't pull it hard, just pull what's loose. This is what I do anyway. And what you end up with is basically something that looks like that. Alright, now, you'll notice that the way that I cut it the first time, because I bent it over and then cut it, it's already angled, okay? So if you're one of those types that like brings the wick up here and cuts it this way, you'll end up with too much cotton on the underneath, and then you won't get the wicking properly. I do this intentionally with a little bit of an angle on each side, because the distance from the coil to here on the inside of the wick and the outside of the wick is different. Make sense? Okay, so when I'm trimming it up, I'm gonna go ahead and look. I'm gonna go, okay, I've definitely got too much cotton. Then the other thing I'll do is I'll kind of trim the ends, like almost give it a haircut. So I'm gonna take just a little more off, and I'll also take some off of the underneath. So that basically I look like that. And see, now when I look at that, I'm gonna put that in that little hole. I don't think so. We're gonna thin it out just a little bit more. Don't thin it out too much though. Cotton threads tends to be a lot thicker than if you're using cotton bacon and some other wicks. So basically now I'm looking at it, making sure I'm nice and even. Now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna grab the inside of the wick, okay? And I'm gonna start tucking it like this, okay? Then what I'm gonna do is start taking the rest of it and putting it in there. And if I think I've got too much length, I'll pull it back out and give it a little trim. And yeah, this is touching the bottom, and that's okay for this. That's a pretty good size juice port you've got right there. See it, okay? So long as it's not stuffed in there, you shouldn't get dry hits. So I'm gonna do the same thing to the other side. First I'm gonna put the thin part in, not the inside part of the wick. Then I work my way out. then I start grabbing my ends and I put them in. And so what I do is I use my metal tweezers and I just grab a little bit at a time. I'm not just trying to stuff the whole thing in there. And then I'll tap it, play with it. Just don't do it too much because you got oil on your hands. And then when you're done, here's what it should look like. Okay? Now, I'm not going to put any juice on this right now because I've got some fresh juice, new juice coming from Detroit rock candy that I want to try out. So I'm going to save this for this. One other thing to make sure that you do. Every time I wick, you know, we have a tendency with these type of tanks to just leave the top part like this together, rinse it, and you're done. It's a really good idea to take it completely apart, rinse it, make sure your O-rings all look good, and then put it back together, okay? Now, if you want a little trick that I do to take these apart, because they can get tough. I've already rinsed this and dried it off, so all I'm doing is putting it back together. And when you've got one of these sections like this, and just doing it like this can be hard. You can take a pair of needle nose, and you basically can use a paper towel or something, put it down into your juice ports, and then give it a twist, okay? They even make tools for it. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna make sure this is all good. And see how I've got plenty of cotton above? That should not leak. And it should wick well. As a matter of fact, I'll do a video later on it when I put some juice on this. Now what I'll actually do is I'm gonna put this on. And then since this has a juice port that closes, I'm gonna back it off so that the port is actually closed, like so. Put my lid on. And I'm gonna save that for later. That's it. Wicking the Fatality. It's not hard. If you don't like wicking and you want a great tank, it's very similar. The Zeus sub-ohm tank. You can get it separately or it comes with each legend. I've had the Falcon, I've had the Fire Lake, I've had a lot of them. This is a top airflow tank. Highly recommend. It's a good flavor. I get no complaints. I put a custom tip on it even. I like it so much. I put this in my car almost every morning. All right, that's it. Quick video. See ya.